Hey, this is Patrick Sheridan from Fit for an Autopsy, and you're listening to the Metal Teddy Bear Experience with Chris.
Welcome back to the Metal Teddy Bear Experience here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is your host, Chris. I'm here at PlayStation Theater with Pat Sheridan, the guitarist of Fit for an Autopsy. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hanging in there, man. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Pumped to see you tonight with Hatebreed, Cro-Mags, Obituary, and Terror. That's a stacked tour, really hardcore, gruesome pits, I can imagine. How's it been for you guys?
Believe it or not, pleasantly, surprisingly good. We go on fairly early on this tour. There's generally been a 5:30 doors with 6:30 set time for us, and it's been pretty well packed out. Lots of people. Lots of shirts for our band and people screaming song names. So it's been much different than we had anticipated, because a lot of times you get on a tour like this and it's, much bigger bands, much more reputable names. You don't expect to maybe have as hard of a hit as we've had so early, and we've been very lucky. So it's been great.
Well, I think you guys blend pretty well, especially with Hatebreed.
I think we're like a great mix between all of the bands. I mean, we all grew up listening to hardcore bands. The Cro-Mags and Terror are two incredible hardcore bands. Cro-Mags being, historic early New York hardcore band, and then Terror being a very important, more modern hardcore band. And then you have Hatebreed, who's like a mix of Obituary and both of those bands. Yeah. And then you have us, who's got elements of every one of the bands that are on the bill. So it's just interesting, you know what I mean? And I feel like I was a little, I wouldn't say hesitant, but a little maybe concerned with where we would fall in. But I mean, dudes in Cro-Mag shirts are coming up and telling us how sick our set was. And to me, being from that world, it's super important for that kind of thing to happen. And it's been insane. It's been great.
Well, you guys seem like you all get along pretty well. Has Jamie Jossa tried to get you on his podcast?
He has not tried to get me on his podcast, but hey man, listen, Jamie Josta's an extremely busy guy. Will Putney has been on it. Okay. And Jamie he's talked about my band on his podcast, and as much as I would love to spend an hour chatting with Jamie Josta, because he's a wealth of knowledge in the music industry and extremely successful with his band and all of his other endeavors, he's a busy guy. Yes. And I also am busy with my band, so who knows? Hopefully we'll meet at that corner one day.
Well, I just brought it up because he does talk about your band a lot on the show, and usually tries to get everyone he tours with on the pod.
Well, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, right.
Who knows what's going to happen in the future? Maybe we'll tour again. We would be stoked to do that. So let's hope so.
Any fun tour stories you would want to share?
Honestly, this tour has been excessively busy for me. Playing for Fit for an Autopsy, tour managing for Fit for an Autopsy. And then I've been stage managing or teching for Terror every night and helping out as much as I can. So the stories for me are just me running around the stage and handling work stuff pretty much every day.
I was going to say, you always keep yourself busy. There was a show you did with After the Burial, I believe, at Webster, and you became the bouncer, the bodyguard on stage.
Sure. Well, you want to know what? One thing that is really important to me is that everybody feels comfortable at our shows. And just the other night, we played in North Carolina, and they just didn't have enough bouncers in the front row for Terror's set, because a lot of those people are, crowd surfing and that whole thing. So I jumped off stage, and I was pulling bodies off the top of the crowd, because that's what you do when you're there. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, I know it's not my job, but I feel like if you're there and you can help, you help to make the show move the right way. And that's definitely paid off for Fit for an Autopsy in the long run, because other bands know that we have that mindset. So it's growing up in this world since I was a little guy. I went to my first show in '86. I was 10 years old. So it's just ingrained in me to make sure that I'm a part of as much as I can be and help as much as I can.
Totally. So the last album you put out was The Great Collapse. That was back in 2017. I think it was March. Mm-hmm. That was through E1 Music, and now you guys are signed to Nuclear Blast.
Yes, sir.
How excited are you to be working with them?
Nervous. Nervous is a good word, because now it's more real. E1's a great label, but every time you make that next step in a direction, it gets a little stressful, because not only do you have to pass your last album, not only in record sales, but musical growth, and you want to hold on to the crowd that you had before and create new fans. And, it's one of those things where it's almost like this bittersweet thing, because it's like, holy cow, I'm on, Nuclear Blast with like all these huge important bands, but then it's like, wait a minute, I'm on Nuclear Blast with all these huge important bands. Damn it, like what am I gonna do? So it's like, it's a little bit of both anticipation and excitement and a little bit of fear involved, because you want to have a good first week and you want to impress people with the music. So it's a little bit of everything.
How far along are you guys on like writing a new album?
Let's just say probably a lot further along with everything than everyone expects. I won't say anything else except for the fact that we are much further along than everybody thinks we are.
Okay.
We have a way of doing things, and our way works really well for us. I'm not going to give out any teasers, but I can tell you that we are ready to go.
There we
and
go.
I'll just leave it at that.
I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. During my show, I ask random silly questions. Are you ready to take part in that?
Whatever you need me to do, I'm here to help.
All right, question number 1, awkward fan experiences.
Whew. That's
Too many?
I'm pretty awkward guy, but awkward. I had a guy try to give me his wife once.
What?
That's a true story. Yeah. Let's just say that he made it very uncomfortable for me. He's like, hey man, this is my wife and blah blah, and I was just like, I gotta go. I have to leave immediately. But there's been a couple of weird ones.
Yeah. Of course.
I would say the over anxious fan is crazy. Right now, I'm looking at the most beautiful man on tour. The awkward fan experience, like I think signing autographs is still really weird for me. Like growing up in the hardcore scene,
Just signing
that's
like
weird.
merch and stuff?
Yeah,
Or?
because I sign a check for my mortgage every month. We pay our, you know what I mean. And being in the hardcore scene, like autographs were never anything that was like a normal thing, So like people asking me to sign like sign my arm. I've signed arms. That's insane to me that people would care enough.
Have they showed you them like tattooed it on?
Joe, I've seen a couple of Joe's names tattooed on people.
Yeah.
And we've had our logos tattooed on people's chests and backs. People get our song lyrics tattooed. And for everybody listening, there's something so impactful about that for people in bands, to see that there's so much dedication to not only us, but just the metal and hardcore scene in general, that people would go out and get logos, like Black Flag tattoo. Of course, I understand that, why you would do that. Or a Cro-Mags tattoo, or even a Hatebreed tattoo, 25-year-old band. But to get a Fit for an Autopsy logo tattooed on you is mind-blowing. So to see that sort of thing happen for me, it's like, it shakes me. It's like, wow, like people care.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. It really is crazy to me, We started this band in 2007 as a side project. And now I'm opening up for Heroes.
Yeah.
Obituary, one of the most important bands in our world, watch our set every night. Ken from Obituary, I look over, that dude is standing there watching. Like, who cares about money? Who cares about people thinking I'm cool? That, to me, is the coolest thing that can ever happen. So there's a lot of really awesome stuff going on right now. So as far as awkward experiences, everything's awkward for me. So
Of course.
I don't know how to answer that, but yeah, that's
You
kind
did
of
justice.
yeah.
Question number 2. This one's a little more silly. What's scarier, 100 regular-sized Dwayne Johnsons or one giant Dwayne Johnson? And now he's angry. He's not happy.
He's
not smiling.
angry. I don't know, I'm not really scared of Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, there you go.
He's a big guy, but he's just a human. So I would say maybe 100 of any one person coming at me at one time would be scary. So we'll go with 100 Dwayne "The Rock" Johnsons coming at me. And if he's listening, I know you could probably body slam the hell out of me, but I'm still not scared.
Okay, I like that. I agree with you on that. I think one you can avoid. 100 you can't.
Yeah.
Question number 3? What's your irrational fear?
My what?
Irrational fear.
Irrational fear?
Like I hate spiders. There's no reason.
I also hate spiders
I just
and
hate them.
clowns. Clowns are gross. Yeah,
Any-
it just scares the hell out of me.
Any bad experiences with a ghost? Clown?
With
Oh, I said
clowns? Yeah, when they're next to me or when I have to look at them, it's a bad experience. I just think it's just like normal phobias. Probably, I would say crippling self-doubt is probably my my worst thing ever. That's probably my biggest fear. Irrational things, convincing myself that, the people that love me don't love me. Like the typical things that everybody goes through. Like, the whole looking at yourself in the mirror and just not seeing the image that you want. Like that's the kind of stuff that affects me more than anything. And I think depression is real for me. And like, I see a lot of people dealing with that. So just, I guess maybe it's not as irrational as possible, but that's the stuff that mentally gets me the most, like self-doubt for sure.
Yeah. I think we all deal with that.
I think so too. And I think the biggest problem in this world and climate that we're in right now is that people make excuses for self-doubt. You just got to remember that every single person on earth looks at themselves in the mirror and doubts everything that they're doing every day. And the only way to get past it is to just shovel through it. You know what I mean? And that hits home for me more than anything else. Yes, I'm afraid of spiders. Yes, I'm afraid of clowns. But my own internal upside down thought process is probably the most irrational thing I deal with every day.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that was the random silly question segment. Hope you enjoyed that.
I did. That's great. It was awesome.
All right. So what are your upcoming plans? I know you guys are working on your record, but you guys have another tour coming?
We have a headliner that we're planning in the fall. I can't really get into details because it's all kind of getting tightened up now. It's going to be full U.S.
Yes.
So that's later on, which I'm sure at that point there will be some hint of new music floating around. Also, we're home for 3 weeks after this tour, and then we go to Europe on a headliner. And in Europe, it is us, Venom Prison, Volvodina, I think is how you pronounce the name of the band, and this band Justice for the Damned from Australia. That band that I just mentioned that I feel bad, I love the band, but I always say the name wrong. They're from South Africa, I believe, and they're hard. Volvodina, I think that's the way you say it. I'm pretty sure. They're really cool. I met one of the guys at NAMM this year. Sick guitar player. And I'm excited to be out with every band on that package. That band, Venom Prison's really sick. Their singer's a sweetheart. She's super cool. Extra strong singer. Like, real tough band. And Justice for the Damned, we've toured with them a couple times. And they're a pretty cool band, too. So that tour is going to be sick, but it is in Europe. So, yeah, that's happening overseas. And then we already have plans all the way out into fall of 2020. It's just I can't talk about it all. There'll be some bunch of European touring, and we got a couple of really cool support tours coming up. So things are moving and busier than ever.
So you guys don't like taking breaks?
Breaks are cool because I like to have like family time and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you take a break and you slow down, people stop paying attention. And the way that we've always done it is to grind our hands to the bone and push and do everything we can to move the project forward on every level. So, this is where we're at right now, and we're going to keep doing what works for us.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking time out to do this, man. I really appreciate it.
I very much appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much.